Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to be showing you how to apply eyeshadow to get the best results. If you are a beginner, eyeshadow can be really tricky and is probably the hardest thing to do when it comes to makeup. But today I'm going to be showing you a very simple look that you can get with a ton of different products. I'm just going to be showing you 4 different steps that you can use. This is like my go-to eye when I want to look like I know what the hell I'm doing and I just really have like no time and I just want to pop this on. It's great. You can do it with bright colors, you can do it with like really normal kind of brown colors or darker colors, so it's just a good way to pop on an eye color and look like you know what you're doing, look like an expert. Before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, please leave a like. Anyway, alright, so let's get into this video. I already have my eyes are primed. I use the Catrice Liquid Camo Concealer on my eyes. This is just a little bit lighter than my skin color, and so I think that when you use a lighter, just a tiny bit lighter than your skin tone, especially if you're doing a really bright eye, it can just make your colors pop. And then I set it with a little bit of this BH Studio Pro powder. It looks like this. Whenever you have something wet that goes onto your face, anything that's a cream product, you want to set it with a powder that of course applies to primer, and it will make your eyeshadow last a lot longer and also make your eyeshadow go on a lot easier. So, alright, so the first thing I'm going to talk about today, I do have makeup on, I also have mascara on. I filmed this after I got done with work, so I have makeup already on my face, but I did take off my eye makeup. I didn't have anything crazy on, so it was pretty easy to do, but then I just reset it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is transition shades. For beginners, I think transition shades can be really helpful in doing your eye makeup. I think that it can be an easy way to start. Sometimes I feel like that's the hardest part. It's like, oh, I don't know where to start. Like, what do I do first? So I'm gonna go into this Royal Affair palette by BH Cosmetics. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be using a bunch of different palettes today, but I couldn't really find like a better transition shade. I'm also going to be using this, the James Charles palette by Morphe. There is not a really good transition shade in this palette, which is like literally the only thing that's missing to show you guys, just because I like to start slow and add the color as I go. This is what the palette looks like. This is the Royal Affair palette by BH Cosmetics. And as you can see, you have like about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more or less shades that are brown, and you've seen these palettes everywhere. If you are obsessed with makeup and you love makeup, you've seen palettes like this everywhere, and they're just like browner shades. Now this one's a little different because you do have like some crazy colors right here, which I like. So the first thing I would do is, there's not a really huge difference between the shade Prince and the shade Majesty. So if you see that, it's really gradual how that goes. It's like 1, 2, and then 3, or you can even go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it depends on how you add your shades. You even have these two, like kind of a mustardy brown and like a really light, like hot cocoa brown kind of a thing. So the first shade I'm going to go into is with this Prince color. I usually like to use the lightest brown that makes sense for the eye look I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing like a little bit of bronzy kind of a gold look, which is like my go-to look, and I think it's the easiest thing to do, and also it's really good for beginners. So I'm going to swatch this shade for you. Also, BH Cosmetics palettes, or their shades, are really great. They're very buttery, they're very pretty, and they're very affordable. So I'm just going to show you that shade. It's almost like a darker kind of hot cocoa kind of a shade, and then if you kind of go up, you have the shade Majesty, which is almost like a little bit darker, and then you have the shade Duchess, which is like this really dark chocolate shade. So that's what those 3 shades look like. Those are the 3 shades I'm going to really deal with today, and then I'm going to go into the James Charles palette for the gold shade. So first things first, I'm going to talk about brushes really quick. I think the 2 brushes that you really need to do your eyes are one that is very tapered. This is a Morphe 330. This is one of my favorite brushes. I could literally do an eye look just with these 2 brushes. They are my favorite to work with. They work really well. If you don't know about Morphe, brushes are affordable and they work amazingly. So if you can see, it's very tapered at the point, and then it just falls into your crease really easily. And it works really well for my crease personally. And then I have this guy right here. This is just stained pink, but it's more of like a rounded, fluffier brush. And this is the M441. What I like to do with these two brushes is, one, I like to apply product with this guy, and then I like to kind of blend it out with this guy. One more brush I'm going to show you is this guy. This is a BH Cosmetics number 7 brush out of that collection. It's just more of like a flat, fluffier kind of a brush. This is really great if you want to get a really defined line into your crease. This will work the best. It doesn't have to be BH Cosmetics, but it can be any brush that you like. To apply the glittery shade, you could always use your finger, but I like to use a wet brush, and this is the M203. It's just a flat kind of a paddle brush. You could also go in with something a little bit smaller if you are just not confident in how to apply. This is a M213, and also I'll use this to apply shadow to my bottom lashes. So these are the brushes that I'm going to use today, the majority of the brushes I'm going to use today. It does seem like a lot, but when you have the right brushes, it makes a huge difference on how your eye is going to come out. If you are on a budget and you don't want to have to pay $100, like if you get a full thing, a full collection by Morphe, it can be up to $100. But if you want good brushes that are very, very inexpensive, I would definitely look into BH Cosmetics. I think the full collection without a foundation brush is like $27. So they have a really good brushes as well. Also, if you really want to be on the cheap side, you can go with the Wet n Wild brushes. These are like $1, I think, at the dollar store, and these are fantastic as well. They are very more on the synthetic side, work really well. Okay, so with the first brush I'm going to use is I'm going to go in with the 330, and I'm going to pop some color onto my brush with that Prince shade. And what I like to do when I'm trying to grab product is just go think about how you're going to apply this onto your eyes. So you're not going to go straight like this and go back and forth. You're going to kind of angle your brush, just because that's the natural position that you would go in. So I like to go flat in and go like that. And as you can see, a lot of product has come out. BH Cosmetics shadows are a little bit powdery, but I don't really mind powder as long as it has pigment. So what I like to do is I like to tap off some excess. So I just like to tap off some excess. And the biggest thing that I can say for you is to go slow. Take your time, build the color. If you put down a color and you're like, oh my God, you know, this is not coming up, I don't understand why it's not coming up onto my brush, take your time, build your color. I'm gonna probably dip in here a couple times, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because it's a lot easier to build product than it is to try and diffuse the product. You see YouTubers and Instagrammers tap off their product on the brush because it gets off the excess. If you do just go in with what's on your brush, you're gonna get a little bit of like creases, and it's just not gonna be as smooth as an application. So that was a huge lesson for me. I've not always been great at eye makeup, but I was always the type of person that just didn't know how to do eye makeup, and until I finally kind of like started doing trial and error. I feel like this palette was like $10. I think I got it at TJ Maxx. You don't have to spend a ton of money, especially nowadays. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get a good product. So I just pulled my hair back because it was just driving me a little crazy, and whenever it's in my way, I always just like get hot. I have a lot of hair and it's annoying. All right, so as you can see, it's still on my brush, and I'm just going to show you what I do to apply this product to get the best results. So first things first, you see where the product is, you're going to lay it down like this, and then you're going to find where your crease is. My crease is pretty freaking high. You just go in and you feel very gently, please don't like go poke your eye out, just gently, and you just want to feel where your eye socket is. That's where your crease is. And for me, I don't have like a very obvious crease. I have to kind of build mine up, but if you have a little bit more sunken eyes, and it's kind of easy, you just go into that place that your brush kind of naturally goes. I'm going to start kind of patting the color right on the outside and then blending it up into the crease. Now with transition shades, you don't have to be too crazy because it is just your transition shade, you are just going to build up color. This is just your first step into building that color. So you don't have to be so precise that, you know, if something happens, if you mess up, it's kind of okay, as long as you're staying in the eye area. So I'm gonna tap off my brush and I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna start patting onto the outer V and then pressing it into my crease and my upper crease. And you're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You could also do some circular motions if you want, just to brush it out and get it a really nice and smooth line. I'm going to come in all the way to my eye and all the way out, but I'm going to concentrate the color on the outside. So again, this is my third dip into this product, going back, popping that right there, and then building that up into the crease and upper crease. Going in one more time. As you can see, I've dipped into the product like 3 times or 4 times, I think. Because this is my transition, I like to come up like almost as far as right here, and this way I have this open, and then if I want to add product later, I can. This is just my upper crease area. What you're doing is basically tapping the product here, and any excess that isn't here, you're bringing into your crease. You kind of want the eyeshadow to look gradient. You don't want it just like a blob of color. You kind of want it to be more concentrated on the outer crease and then in your crease, and then up further it gets lighter. All right, so as I have that product on there right now, it looks really nice. You can definitely see a difference. And then now it's time to bring in the M441. It's not gonna add product, it's just going to blend it out and make it look seamless. This is my favorite brush to do that because it does have that dome top. I'm just gonna go, I'm not gonna do anything in my crease. I'm just going to concentrate it on the top and kind of blend that out, going upward so that it looks kind of flawless, and anywhere where I feel like, oh, that's patchy, I just want to blend that out really quick. So that's what that looks like. It looks really nice. One of the most important steps I feel like people miss when they're doing their eye makeup, to blend it out and make it look seamless and really nice and gradient on the eye. I'm gonna do the other eye really quick, and then I'm gonna come back and we will move on to the next step. I don't know what I'm doing with my arm, but I'm doing something. Okay guys, so I just applied that shade on both of my eyes. It looks really nice right now. I'm gonna go in with the James Charles palette. I'm gonna use this really dark brown shade, and I'm gonna take this guy from BH Cosmetics. My desk is not big enough for this palette. So I have the product on my brush. I'm going to just slowly apply the product right into that crease. As you can see, that's a lot darker than this eye. Just building it up, making it look a little bit more defined, and keeping the majority of the product on the outside. It almost looks like a wave because it's coming bigger on this side and then smaller on this side. Makes your eye look a lot bigger, nicer. That's what we want. I'm going to take my M330 and just go into the crease, doing the same thing, but just making sure that there's no really fine line. You want it, again, want it to make it look radiant. I'm gonna go do the other eye and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that looks good. I just ended up just taking that dark shade a little bit more up and just going in with this guy and just kind of going up and blending that out. Basically doing the exact same thing, adding color and blending it out. That's my biggest advice, and it just makes a big difference in your application. So at this point right now, I'm gonna add a little bit on the bottom. When it comes to the bottom lash line, when you're adding color, the darker the color, it should be closest to your eye line. The name of the shade in the James Charles palette is called No Beans. So I'm gonna go in with this M213 and then just tap in and come really close to my lash line, knock off the excess, always knock off the excess. So I'm just gonna drag it to like 3/4 of the way because I do wanna put a really nice highlight shade in my inner corner. So I'll just take it like that and just make sure I meet up with this guy, and then we'll blend it out later. I'll do the same thing on the other eye. And then I'll go in with this brush, which I did not mention in the beginning. This is the M562. I'll go in with that BH Cosmetics palette and dip into that print shade that we use for our transition. And I'll just pop it on here, and then I'll just blow it out a little bit lower, depending on how low you want to go. And I'll just concentrate that kind of on the outer side just to meet up with this guy. It ends up giving you this really nice kind of grungy, smoky eye kind of a look. So at this point, I would go in with my gold shade on my lid, or any shade that you want on your lid. Doesn't have to be gold, just depends on which you are into. So I'm going to take that 203 brush right here, and then I'm going to dip into this gold shade that is in this palette. It's called Wave. This really pretty like gold shade right here, and then I'm going to pick it up, and then just because I don't want any fallout, I'll just take a setting spray. I end up always using this All-Star setting spray from ColourPop, just because I don't use it a lot on my face. Part of it is to enhance the color, and part of it is to stop the fallout. So you don't have to tap off this one, because if you tap it off, it'll be everywhere. Okay, so that's what that looks like. It's not a ton of pigment. You could also cut the crease at this point. I'm not going to do that because cut creases kind of look a little wonky on me. Anyway, so that looks okay. It's not the brightest shade in this palette. It's like almost like a darker gold. I think I'm going to go in with the shade So Good. I'm going to pop that on my hand, grab my mirror, and then if you can see, I'm just going to focus it right in this area. So I just pat that on, and that looks so pretty. Almost to our last step, I'm gonna go back in with this BH Cosmetics brush. I'm gonna go in with that really chocolatey shade, and the name of the shade is called Duchess. What you're gonna do is, as I'm gonna pick up the product, I'm gonna go straight down and just pat it or swipe it, depending on how you want to do that. Knock off the excess. You're just going to pat and just kind of go over that darker gold, and just so that there's not such a harsh line, just build that darker shade up. That looks really good. The last thing I'll do is I'll just take the M330, and I'll just kind of like really lightly blend that out. Okay, so this is what the eye looks like right now. You could pop a lash on, you could put a liner on if you want to. I just put a little bit of this Believe Beauty Volume Eyes Mascara. I did a nothing over $5 video, and this was in it, and I'm obsessed. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my go-to look. I really love a dark outer corner, light inner corner. That's basically what this is. It's a brown smoky eye kind of a deal. I hope you guys come back and spend a little time with me in the future. I'm uploading every Monday and every Friday around 10 o'clock in the morning. I hope that if you are struggling with anything in your life, that this is just a little bit of an escape for you guys. Definitely is for me. Okay guys, I will see you on my next video. Bye.